In the beginning, before the world was shaped by laws and light, the earth and sky were submerged in an endless abyss of darkness. The night was so complete, so all-encompassing, that not even the keenest eyes could pierce through it. Raven, the clever trickster of the wild, found himself stumbling and colliding with unseen obstacles, his wings battered by unseen winds. He was a creature of sharp wit and cunning, but in this darkness even his brilliance was dulled. "This will never do," Raven muttered, his voice a low, grating growl against the oppressive blackness. Driven by frustration, Raven listened intently to the whispers of the world's silent voices carried by the wind, murmurs hidden within the rustling of leaves. From these whispers he learned of a single, precious source of light, a radiant golden ball, jealously guarded by an ancient, greedy old man. This miser, with his gnarled hands and clouded eyes, kept the light hidden from all, plunging the world into unyielding night. "This will never do," Raven repeated, his resolve hardening. He would find this old man, and he would claim the light for himself. After a treacherous journey through the darkened world, Raven finally reached the old man's lodge. Concealed in the shadows, he watched, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The old man, oblivious to Raven's presence, went about his days in solitude, his only company a young daughter who moved through the darkness like a ghost. A plan began to form in Raven's mind, a plan as dangerous as it was brilliant. He would not confront the old man directly, that would be foolish. Instead, he would use his cunning to slip inside the very heart of the old man's home. "May I be a pine needle floating upon the water," Raven whispered, his voice as soft as the breath of wind through the trees. In an instant, his sleek black feathers dissolved into a single, slender pine needle, drifting silently on a nearby stream. As he floated, Raven's voice rose once more, a hushed incantation on the breeze. "May the old man's daughter have a great thirst," he whispered, his words carrying an edge of malice. As if drawn by an unseen force, the old man's daughter felt a sudden, overpowering thirst. She reached for a cedarwood cup, dipped it into the stream, and drank deeply, her throat parched and desperate for relief. With that one sip, Raven's plan was set in motion. He had been swallowed whole, slipping inside her like a shadow into the night. Time passed, and the old man's daughter grew heavy with child. The old man, his suspicions festering like a wound, demanded to know the father's identity. But his daughter, bewildered and fearful, could only weep, swearing that she had never laid eyes on another man. The old man's anger simmered, but it was eventually extinguished when his daughter gave birth to a plump, beautiful baby boy. The old man's wrath melted into adoration, and he was consumed by a love so deep that he vowed to fulfill the child's every desire. In his joy, he failed to notice the sharp glint of intelligence in the baby's dark eyes, the eyes of Raven, reborn in human form. As the days passed, the baby grew restless. His cries pierced the silence of the lodge, a rising wail that seemed to shake the very foundations of the earth. "Gimme," the baby screamed, his voice like a thunderclap in the stillness. "Gimme." The old man, desperate to quiet his grandson's incessant wailing, offered him toy after toy, carved wooden animals, bright feathers and trinkets of all kinds. But the baby batted them away with furious impatience, his cries growing louder and more shrill with each passing moment. "Gimme. Gimme," he howled, thrashing in his cradle like a storm-tossed wave. "What do you want?" the old man finally shouted, his voice trembling with exhaustion and fear. "Ball." "Want golden ball," the baby demanded, his small fists clenched in fury. The old man recoiled, his heart clutched by a cold dread. The golden ball, the source of all light, was the one thing he had vowed never to share. But the baby's cries were relentless, an unending assault on his senses, until at last the old man could bear it no longer. With trembling hands, he unlocked the cedar chest where the golden ball was hidden. As the lid creaked open, a brilliant, golden light spilled forth, banishing the darkness and bathing the lodge in a warm, radiant glow. "Here," the old man said, his voice weak with defeat. "But be careful with it." The baby's cries ceased instantly, replaced by a soft, delighted laugh. In a heartbeat, the baby transformed back into Raven, his black feathers shimmering in the golden light. With a triumphant caw, Raven seized the golden ball in his talons and leapt into the air, his wings beating furiously as he shot out of the lodge and into the night sky. "Come back," the old man cried, his voice echoing uselessly in the vast emptiness. But Raven was already gone, a shadow streaking across the horizon. Yet, Raven's victory was short-lived. Eagle, his rival and a formidable hunter, had seen the burst of golden light and knew exactly where it came from. In the days of darkness, Eagle had never been able to find Raven, who hid easily in the shadows. But now, with the golden ball blazing in his grasp, Raven was a beacon in the night. Eagle spread his massive wings and soared after Raven, the wind whistling through his feathers as he gained on the trickster with every powerful stroke. Raven, burdened by the weight of the golden ball, could feel Eagle closing in on him, the hunter's fierce gaze locked on his prey. No, Raven shrieked, panic surging through him like a lightning bolt. Knowing he couldn't outrun Eagle while carrying the entire golden ball, Raven made a desperate decision. With a furious cry, he snapped off a piece of the golden ball and hurled it into the sky. The fragment blazed as it ascended, igniting the darkness with a brilliant, searing light. And thus, the sun was born. But Eagle was undeterred, his eyes blazing with determination as he continued his relentless pursuit. Raven, still weighed down by what remained of the golden ball, could feel the hunter's breath on his feathers. "No," he screamed again, his voice raw with fear. In another act of desperation, Raven broke off a second piece of the golden ball and flung it into the heavens. This piece took on a softer glow, its light gentler and more subdued as it rose to join the sun. And thus, the moon came into being. Yet still, Eagle pursued him, his wings slicing through the air with deadly precision. Raven, now nearly at his limit, knew he had only one chance left. With a final, defiant cry, he crumbled the last remnants of the golden ball in his talons and scattered the sparkling fragments across the sky. These shards of light became the stars, their glittering presence filling the night with 1,000 points of light. Freed from his burden, Raven darted away, his sleek form vanishing into the night as Eagle's talons slashed through empty air. He had done it. Raven had brought light to the world, a gift wrested from the clutches of darkness and greed. And so, in the sky above, the sun, moon, and stars continue to shine, their light a reminder of Raven's daring, his cunning, and the birth of light itself.